Hey everyone, welcome to another review here on Go Mango.
No!
Alright, as always, I'm your host, Frozen Stratos. Here with me today we have
Cinder Blaze.
I'm Aresol.
dudes, welcome back. On today's episode, we're going to be reviewing Mashin Sentai Kikai Sentai Kira Major. No! You know what it is. It's in the title. It's episode 7.
Yeah, Jukin
Yeah.
Sentai Geki Ranger. Ready to go.
Oh man. But hey, this is a really good episode. And what I was scared of, what are you doing? What are you doing with your hands? Are you okay? Mouthful of yogurt? Right, okay. Welcome in, Master Logos. So, this is a pretty good episode, and what I was afraid of going in was that, we would sway more into the anniversary aspects of the series and just dump the character stuff. And, we had less of it, but way more than I thought there'd be. And also, we even got some interesting characterization and motivation out of Stacy/Stay Caesar, which is a really cool name. Have you ever wanted to make the name Stacy sound cool? Stay Caesar, Jesus.
I don't think cool's the appropriate term for it. I feel like they're just like, well, his name's Stacy. How to make him scary? And then they just found that pun out of nowhere, and I'm just kind of sitting there baffled. They actually went that route. That sounds so dumb on our end because what we associate with Caesar, but he's just I'm Stay Caesar. It's glorious.
I assume they worked backwards with it. Okay, we really want to use Caesar. We really got to shove that in here, but that's a hard word to make a pun out of.
Oh man, what if his name was just Caesar?
But there was something interesting about Stay Caesar, and like I said, they set up his motivation, and you know that he is the kid, or at least half robot. He's a kid of the Tank Man, not Tank Joe, but yeah.
Our new Tank Joe.
Yeah, new Tank Joe. And he's like, hey, this isn't personal. I just need this power to surpass him. And you just assume it's his dad, and you immediately you recognize, he holds a lot of animosity, so much so that he will adopt any sort of power and do whatever it is he has to get better than him or to get back at him. And I feel like, that small moment they gave him gave us a lot of characterization.
That just gave me an epiphany. He's so angry that his name is Stacy, that he's gonna go out of his way to prove to the world that he's an actual threat.
I love how you always have to make shit up.
Sometimes it just makes the show that much better.
I like that they established that he isn't necessarily a new general or this secret threat that they've been hiding. No, he's just an experiment. He's just a test subject that they're using, basically. Mm-hmm. And he happens to be seemingly right now a success.
Yeah, I like it so far. And I do wonder, because the gears he has, obviously the good guy gears, those are modeled after those Sentai worlds, but they have access to the many parallel worlds. I wonder if they actually siphoned energy from those to create those metals, or the gears.
Yeah. And honestly, when we saw Stacy using those gears, he was able to pull out the actual Sentai, and I was actually kind of surprised that they were doing that, because with Zenkaiger, they're only gonna stick with using their special moves and stuff, and I thought they just want to pay homage to them, but they don't want them to take over as they kind of did with Gokaiger at times. They always shell out every single form, and it was great as an homage, but we don't get to see the Gokaigers as much, even though I think they struck a pretty good balance back then. But if he actually has the power to have like a full Sentai team on, like maybe like that's probably because they have access to those worlds that they sealed up, so maybe they have like some sort of stronger connection, or like the Zenkaiger's like parents kind of like took away like that essence of the of the Sentai, and like we see them in like their actual moves and stuff like that. Whereas Stacy just kind of has like husks, like he has the form, but not like the actual spirit of the Sentai.
I mean, it's definitely not the spirit, but they do have, the look and the power set. They have the arsenals.
Yeah,
because I saw them whip those out, and that was still pretty cool.
yeah.
But
they can't kick a football with as much gusto as Zenkaiger.
I love that they still just used it like with strings and stuff. Like you could still see the strings. That was really funny.
And they use like the same cuts as well, and the way they would do the zoom in on the ball. That was good stuff. So they when they want to do anniversary, they're really good at it, and they're just showing off. So I appreciate seeing that. But hey,
I like the little focus we got on Gown because of Stacy's appearance.
Yeah.
And I like that.
I was about to say, you guys want to talk about racism?
I like that we we know Gown's whole deal. He prefers I don't want to say living, organic creatures to Kikainoids. So it is an interesting idea that the enemy's human-ish. So he would probably have an issue with fighting them.
Yeah, because
and I like the conversation he had with Zenkaiger about it. Sorry, I didn't mean.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna let you finish. I like that Zenkaiger was like, I get that you don't want to, and I'm not gonna make you, because I have my own sort of, I don't really want to fight a human either. I don't really, but I like the idea, or at least the allusion to the idea that he wasn't as worried about his Kikainoid teammates because he himself is a Kikainoid and he knows they don't need protecting.
That's true, yeah, because they're kunk.
Yeah, like he knows they can take a beating, whereas the humans can't.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense, like why he's so quick to defend them.
Yeah,
and like honestly, like that kind of like hatred he had for Kikainoids was kind of where his like power to fight them kind of came from, because like he hated them so much. He was able to kind of like go full and all out, like he said, like in this episode.
It adds this extra dimension of, well, like he knows that they could potentially accidentally harm them, but these guys are actively doing so and basically misusing their power, because when they transferred over there, he knows they're on like a different plane in terms of strength. So like for them to abuse that power really struck a chord, or really bothered him.
Oh yeah, but like I was kind of like thinking, because we did see the preview of the mechs that they would be fighting later on in this episode. We got basically like the mirrored versions of them, so they're fighting whatever Sentai mech they were based off of.
Yeah,
and I kind of hoped that there would have been like a little bit more to that, but I guess like they are just like husks, and they just kind of wanted to like show, hey, look, it's those forms, like they look kind of similar, point it out. But I thought like, at least for like Gown, because like it was just such a strong like part of this episode where it kind of like felt that connection with like humans. I thought like maybe he does have like some sort of like root, some sort of feelings as like the Gao Lion that probably he might have like got some memories jogged or something like that. But I think that they're pretty set and kind of like keeping these guys separate from the other worlds and just having them being their own thing as Kikainoids. So like that was like something I was like hopeful for, but I'm not really upset that it didn't happen. But like if it was gonna happen, it was gonna happen in this episode. So I guess that's not gonna be a thing.
Yeah, and like I understand the notion of wanting to learn from a previous team, but I also recognize that like if you base your show around the people you would like to appear in your show and they just can't, then you're kind of SOL on some of that character development if they end up not being able to make it. Which is unfortunate. But to go back to that fight, because we typically have that like, I don't want to say 360, but like all around view camera. We typically have that on the ground level, but they brought it into
a Zord fight.
Yeah, the Zord fight, and it was so good. You did lose out on, I guess, the weight of the mechs a little bit, but it was still really cool to see.
Yeah, it was also really neat that they did the traditional like team bazooka finisher, but giant mechs.
Yeah,
I haven't seen that in a while.
It makes me want to get one to fit with my figures, and I have yet to find one that's properly in scale. That was really great.
Yeah, a team bazooka would be awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, speaking to just the cinematography in that fight, there's a lot of cool moments throughout the episode that were like that. You mentioned them as we were watching, but some of the transitions when they were transforming, where they would pan the camera behind a character and it would the transformation would happen that way, or Gallon's transformation as he leaped out from behind a crowd was neat too.
Yeah, some of those were like really impressive. The one you brought up, the first one, where like they didn't even pan. He like turned. He went from this side of the camera and like slashed or something, and then was something different on the other side. It was great. And we're getting a ton of variants on the way they transformed, even in this episode. Like you have the typical, all right, I'm gonna run to the side of the screen, and then there'll be a flash, and then you had like, all right, I'm gonna shoot one out, and then immediately I'm here. It feels like a lot of work was put into this one.
Yeah, I love that Stacy shoots himself in the arm like an injection.
Good for kids. Another thing that I wanted to bring up. Oh, man, I'm losing it. Zenkaiger and Stacy's they just started running. He passed him up and he's like, no, I'm running too. And I wonder if maybe that's going to be, I don't know, some sort of parallel that we're going to be seeing later, where you're going to see them competing with each other, and it's not just in that instance. I don't know what they'd be competing for, but maybe it's foreshadowing to some sort of grand conflict. It's interesting.
I think they already kind of did that with this episode, because they kind of like foreshadowed like his whole motivation for being a villain. He's just trying to like show up, show that he's actually strong or competent, whatever he's trying to prove, just prove his worth. So seeing this guy just like outrun him, he's just like, no, that can't happen.
That's fair. I guess it does show their nature. I'm just wondering if at some point they will find a similar goal, or at least, two separate goals that might coincide and they actually have to butt heads for it, which I guess is kind of what's already happening, but like something a little more clear and concrete than, oh hey, I don't want this world to go boom. Oh, I do. You know.
I don't know, I have doubts about something like that happening in this show.
Fair. All right.
Yeah, ever since Nada, it's just like whatever he thinks can be good, it's not gonna happen. They're just gonna drop the ball on it, like real hard. Like they're gonna show it in your face and just like throw it on the ground and kind of like smash it with their foot.
Guys, are you ready to have this awesome dude on your team? Good. We're gonna kill him. Hey, do you guys have anything else before we hop to the comments?
I guess there's some like Two Kaiser stuff from like the preview, but I think someone mentioned in the comments. We can talk about it then.
Well, yeah, okay, yeah, and if not, we'll get to it next episode. Like that's So the first comment I've got here is from Buggo Productions TV, who asks, "What are your thoughts on the Geertlinger bazooka?" Good stuff.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. You have regular gun, now it big. Cool.
Yep.
Even the gear, they even had like a big gear. That was fun.
Yeah.
Matt Hunt commented saying, "Love the reaction as always. This episode was a blast. The anniversary stuff, of course, but the character stuff they're doing with Gowan is really nuanced and I love it. Stacy is also a nice surprise. Not only am I interested in how he is, you want to see that happening. But he's also not your typical mustache-twirling villain and seems like a really good rival to play against Kaito. I want to know who the him he's trying to surpass is." Yeah, that's true. They didn't outright say that it was his father, so it could be somebody else. Could be his mother. Could be the bird.
Could be the wall.
Could be Wall Man with arm. Love the Geertlinger bazooka, and touch with the robots being summoned from their toy boxes was chef's kiss. Next time the formula is flipped on its head, again with Zox/Two Kaiser, and I really want to see what the dynamic will be between our 3 human rangers and our 4 Kikainoid ones. It is interesting how they're building out a potentially non-traditional human side of the team as well. So that's fun. And you know what? So far, the human, all the traditional colors have been donned by the main team, and all the non-traditional colors, white, purple. Okay, gold is traditional. Never mind. White and purple. Those are strange. Those are new. Those are weird and different.
Yeah, but gold's got some untraditional armaments.
It does.
I won't get into it in case of anyone.
Yeah, and I think it's more of like a recent thing where like every other Sentai has like a gold or silver. I think the last 5 always had a gold or silver.
I think so, yeah. Let's see here. Basil Eldo says, excuse me, this episode was great with Stacy's being a new threat to the Zenkaiger. I think we could see a redemption story in the future. Yeah. I thought that with
Yodana,
yeah, but she's gone. No spoilers. She's all the way gone. So that sucks. And he could have another form like Wolzord and Geizorg. Can't wait for the next episode with Two Kaiser. That's interesting.
Did they have a new form, or did they just get painted another color?
Got painted another color and given to somebody else.
Okay.
Well, Wolzord didn't, but Geizorg, yeah.
All right.
And then Tree Cobb says, I'm more excited for next week. Yeah.
Yeah. It honestly surprised me that we're getting Two Kaiser like this early, just because we just got Stacy this episode. You know, I felt like we need maybe 3 episodes before we introduce him, but I guess they got toys to sell. And this guy,
you know it.
This guy's raring to go. Looks like.
I will say though, we've had some pretty decent pacing so far. Everybody got their focus episode, and then we had a few status quo episodes. So I'd say not enough to get tired of it, but enough to miss it. like a status quo, and now it's going to be a new formula to shake it up. I feel like it's a rather okay balance.
I don't know. I'm kind of like hesitant just because we usually get our next ranger once like the enemies start picking up in strength, and they kind of need that extra push. But they're already kind of like ahead of the curve. It feels like they've already kind of like beaten Stacy when he's like sent out like 3 Sentai teams. Unless he like sends out a freaking horde, like unless we get like the 99 war or whatever. I don't think that they're gonna be really needing him all too much. But we'll see.
Yeah. Well, all right, guys. Do you have anything else before we got the hell out of here?
Nope.
Oh,
I'm good.
We got Saber.
Well, yeah, I recognize that. But that's a video. Hey, maybe you should go check that out. Great transition, Alex. That'll be up in and around the same time as this episode, so definitely go check that out and see what we thought about your thoughts. But that is it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you like the episode, hit the like button and subscribe. If you want to hear more from us each week, tell us in the comments down below what you thought about our thoughts about your thoughts about this episode. And while you're down there, links in the description to some Zenkaiger merch that I designed myself, and more importantly, some links to how you can help support the Black Lives Matter movement and the hashtag Stop Anti-Asian Hate. Thank you so much for watching. Keep it.
Oh yes. Oh my god. I'm so sorry. I thought we were already done with this.
You spaced out too early.
Oh man.